You're a wizard, Planty. Seymour. The premise of Powerplants is that you are a wizard spreading your little magical sprites all over these plants. You want to grow the best garden, but it doesn't matter that everybody's growing in the same garden. You want to make sure that your specific plants are the most beautiful plants. They give you the most magical energy, let's call it. Points. It's victory points. You're looking for victory points. All of this boiled down with a very unique mechanism in a game that is from kids' table board games, meaning it's probably good for kids. It's certainly good for a wide range of gamers. I've played this with people who are very experienced in board games and who have just sort of started. It was quite a good reception from all of them. This is a game that I've been very excited to try. This would have been my pick of the week back when it was on Kickstarter. I thought it looked really cool. This is one that I was going to steal from Alex Radcliffe's collection over at Board Game Co. And I'm happy to say that it lived up to my expectations. So if that's all you need, well, there you go. See you later. But if you want to learn how to play the game, I'm going to teach you right now. At the start of the game, you're going to pick 5 of the 8 different plants that will be in existence. You'll see that we have some duplicates here. We have 2 different versions of the Snapjaw. Well, we have a Snapjaw and a Trapmaw. Not to be confused with the promo item, Paul Blart Slapjaw. You can't pick 2 of the same, but it's just to give you a little bit of a variability. One's more of a beginner side, an easier version to use, which we'll use that as our little examples. And the other ones are a little bit more complicated, but not unduly so. So once you pick your 5 plants, you'll kind of lay them out for everybody to see. You've got this cheat sheet as well that tells you all of the sprout powers for both different types of plants. While you're getting used to the game and relying on this, I would recommend, just because it's a flipping back and forth, it's easier to keep these separate. You'll organize them in sort of morning, afternoon, and night, because that's how they will activate if you choose to use all of them. So we have our sprouts, we have our sprouts out there, and then we're going to set up the board. We would start with a sprout of each type. See, this one isn't in the game, so what I do is I just throw it away. I keep them all in the bag, and then when I pick out one that doesn't work, you can throw it away. Or if you keep on getting things that don't work and you find that annoying, you can go through and sort them yourself. You'll start off with a little garden in the middle, and every player will get 2 different plants in front of them. There's also going to be a little bit of a nursery over here. You draw 3 random ones. So on the off chance that you have 2 of the same plant, you can, on your turn, choose to swap it with one from the nursery to give you a little bit of a choice, right? To give you a sense, some agency in the game and not resign you to only taking one action. And then on your turn, it's simple. You put out this plant, you put it somewhere in the existing garden, and you choose to do either the sprout action or the grow action. Now the sprout action, you can put this little wizard token on it to remind you that you put something there. Now the sprout action affects the tile that you just placed down, or you can take the grow action, not of the tile you just placed down, but of any tiles that are touching the tile you place. These grow actions will generally be less powerful, but sometimes you get to do 3. Sometimes you get to do 4. And you may not want to use this ability, but you may want to use these abilities instead. All of the abilities revolve around you putting your sprites on some tile. You can put more than one sprite on. You want to control the most tiles. And in fact, you want to control tiles that are connected to make contiguous groups of color, because they'll be worth more at the end. If you have a big swath of purple and you have the most sprites in that purple, you're going to get big points. Some of the abilities also just allow you to get yourself points right away. Like purple often is, hey, you get points for every sprite that's touching this thing. And so you can get points that way as well. You place a tile out, you do those actions, you draw a new tile to replace it, ideally one that is in the game. Oh my God, come on, let's keep it. This is why you sort beforehand. This is why you sort beforehand. Oh my gosh, you'd think that this was a bit. There we go. There are some other rules, like if you're adding sprites to a place that already has enemy sprites, they cancel each other out. So that's how you can take people away. You can deny points from someone. But in essence, this is not a tile laying game, but an area control game. It's kind of a nice, weird hybrid of the two. It feels like it should be a tile laying game because you're picking a tile, you're doing the ability, but all the abilities revolve around controlling those fields and controlling the most fields out there in sneaky ways. Now, how you add your troops to the map is unique, right? This yellow one is actually pretty good because its grow ability is add 2 sprites to each patch next to the wizard. So you'd be able to get 2 sprites there and 2 sprites there, really kind of locking down a foothold in that area. But you can see how your sprites are going to slowly increase across the map and how people are incentivized to build out in a specific color, because if you control it, you'll get a lot of points. My main concern about this game going in were the abilities. And it's still somewhat of a concern, but having seen it in action, I'm less concerned. You get a ton of abilities, right? There are 8 different plants. There are 2 abilities per plant. That's 16 different abilities. You're only going to pick 5 of them. And then figuring out how they all interact together is a bit of a learning curve, but it's surprisingly not as large of a learning curve as I would have expected. When you boil it down to these abilities, they essentially are in 2 camps, right? Adding sprouts or adding gems to fields. Gaining sprouts or gaining points. You either you're gaining gems for unopened plots. You know that this one just gets you points. This one, you move things around and you get points. This one, you're moving things around and you can get a point. Right? Here, you're taking away sprites. You're going to get points for those at the end of the game. Here, you're moving things around and you're adding stuff. Right? It's all about manipulating the board, adding presence to the board, or using the board setup to get yourself a bunch of points. And I think it's a really nice balance because regardless of what you have, you're never really overwhelmed with choice because you only have 2 actions in front of you. I think if you always had all of these actions available to you, it would be awful. I mean, you do in a sense, because not only do you have to consider the 16 abilities, you actually have 32 abilities because you have the grow ability of everything, right? You have to consider, okay, when I grow, it does this. When I grow, it does this. But they're generally pretty easy to glom onto or absorb that. But you can even see as the map has been expanding, the spots where you can move things in and activate a bunch of abilities kind of point themselves out to. And then you say, okay, cool. There's a surprising little amount of analysis paralysis here. And I think it earns its spot on KTBG's Kids Table Board Games roster because of this strange meld of simplicity and strategy. It really is exciting and fascinating how they've managed to find that balance. I'm not sure what player count I like this the best at. It plays 1 to 5. I haven't played it at 5 players, and I haven't played it solo, but I played 2, 3, and 4. And they're all pretty decent. I like the head-to-head nature of really denying an opponent in a 2-player game means you're benefiting yourself. Denying an opponent in anything other than a 2-player game means you're just picking on Chris because he's generally good at games. And I want you to stop it, because you could have gotten so many more points over there, okay? I think like most area control games, I like it at a higher player count, though. If I had to choose, I would play this with 3 or 4 because you have a little bit more of that chaos. The garden is going to grow in the same way regardless. It's going to be about the same size, but with more competition over the big patches of land, I find that a little bit more exciting. Either everybody's going in for that big patch, or people are trying to disrupt it. Somebody might be doing something sneaky over on the other side, just like laying gems on one small patch and hoping nobody can get at them. There's a lot of fun things that you can do with these abilities, and I love, love, love the amount of combinations that you can have. It makes every game feel fresh, it makes every game feel different, and that's super fun. I'm not a huge fan of the cling bean or whatever it is, the fly bean. The wing bean, cling bean, wing bean. Okay, that's pretty funny. We gotta look through these names right now. Honeyleaf, bunnyleaf? Oh, sweetleaf. Dang, I was hoping they would all rhyme. Honeyleaf, sweetleaf, broadroot, deeproot. Broad and deep. Tanglethorn, manglethorn. Come on. Stranglethorn. Oh, it's close. Cinderwood, whimpershood, emberwood. That was pretty close. Starflower, shyflower. Trapmaw, snapjaw. I think that is my favorite. Frightshade, nightshade. Oh. Frightshade, Spiritbane. No, it should have been Nightshade. Frightshade, Nightshade. Come on. Missed opportunity. Cling bing, cling bing, cling bing, bing bing. Yeah, but there's an enormous amount of variability here. If you like games that give you that variability, that have a very short play time, this does play in that half hour on the box. It's about that, especially if you're playing quickly. For a new game, probably 45. It's nice that it does have a training mode as well. You don't have to play with the grow actions, although I would not enjoy it as much if those grow actions didn't exist. But they recommend that as a training mode for young children. And I guess I've just proved to you all that I'm a big, strong boy. Yeah, I really quite enjoyed this. I was hoping that with the pieces, with the beautiful tactile nature of these pieces, I honestly don't know if I have a retail or a deluxe copy right now. I feel like it might be a meld in between. It's very possible I could have the deluxe copy because I have the deluxe copy of other Burnt Island KDBG games that they sent me. But I was hoping with the tactile nature, the pretty pictures, the little sprites, I was hoping that that would help alleviate my girlfriend's distaste for area control games. And it did in a sense. She really doesn't like area control games. She doesn't like people messing with her stuff. She's more of a Euro gamer. Prefers when I can't attack her viciously and ruin all of her plans. But even she said that she enjoyed it and would play it again. It wasn't her favorite. It didn't revolutionize her experiences on area control games, which I was kind of hoping it would, because that's like a nice. I really like area control. I like that tactical battle situation, and it would be nice to have like a half-hour game that she would enjoy. So just keep that in mind. But I think it's a really solid pick. Plays exactly like I was hoping it to. I love the decision of Sprout and Grow, and I quite enjoy it. So for final rating, feels like I've been playing a lot of good games recently. This has got to be 4.5. It's a seal of distinction. It's better than a seal of approval. It's a seal of distinction, and it's one that packs a lot into a small footprint. Small footprint, a small punch, doesn't overstay its welcome, gives you lots of variability, gives you lots of interaction, and plays well at all the player counts. Fun little game, great production quality. I don't have much bad to say about it, other than the potential complexity of that learning curve and the potential fiddliness of figuring out how these things interact, not knowing all of your decisions, not knowing what other people can do. There's that potential for analysis paralysis. If you're really trying to play it tactically, it's better served not being played tactically, so to speak, not surveying all the options, because it wouldn't be fun that way. And there's the potential little fiddly bits of the setup as well, of having to only play with 5 and then take them all out and then mix them up. But that's minor. Those things are sort of minor issues. All in all, really enjoyed it. So yeah, Powerplants, 4.5 out of 5, seal of distinction. Quite a nice job from KDBG. Now you're an expert on Powerplants, okay? Now you too can be a wizard. Get in there, you little sprites. Thanks everybody for watching. My name's Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase. I don't have my parents' approval, but one of these days, maybe one of those things will come true. I hope it's the catchphrase. Just kidding. I'm sorry, Mom. You'll see my mom in the comments. She'll be very upset.